10 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
A local doctor is dead tonight after he and his guide were murdered on a fishing trip in Belize.
Gary Swank was a cardiologist at Roanoke Memorial Hospital and an associate professor at Virginia Tech Carilion School of Medicine. 10 News reporter Shane Dwyer is live tonight outside the hospital with late-breaking details. Shane?
Lindsay and John, the local paper reporting there in San Pedro, Belize, that Dr. Swank was found about 10 yards away from his boat, face down in a lagoon, and that the fishing guide he was with was found in the boat, both of their bodies riddled with gunshot wounds. Carilion Clinic provided this photo to us of Dr. Swank. They tell us they're heartbroken and that Dr. Swank was well respected and well loved here at work. San Pedro is a small, remote area of Belize in Central America. It's a beach town popular with divers and anglers, and Dr. Swank's LinkedIn page made it clear that he was an avid fisherman. His profile picture on LinkedIn shows him in a stream with fishing gear, and as you see there, very proud of his catch. Swank's guide was Mario Grinnell. He ran that operation locally in the area. The Belize Game Fish Conservation Network posted this photo on Facebook, saying Grinnell was a big part of the fishing community down there. Police believe that around 10 Sunday morning, the two were fly fishing when another boat came by and shot them dead. The U.S. State Department says most crimes there remain unsolved and unprosecuted, and that's part of the reason they've issued a level 2 travel advisory to Belize as of January. That's on a 1 to 4 ranking, with 4 being do not travel. They say there's an increase in violent crime and warn Americans traveling there should use increased caution. We're still waiting to hear back from the State Department on this murder. I've also spoken with the Belize consulate in Washington, D.C. tonight. They're offering their condolences, but didn't want to say anything else upon looking further into it. Live in Roanoke, Shane Dwyer, 10 News, working for you.